What everyone's getting wrong about CS2?
Have you talked with Valve about CS2? Man, they write me in Twitter and they ask me, what the issues? You know what I did? I never answer them back. You don't...
I saw Smuya get mad at that. I don't know what my take is on this. Smuya said he should have answered. I don't know. Because he is kind of right. Like, every pro makes tweets, no? They just have to, like, look a little bit for it. I don't know.
You know what I did?
It's not his jobs, man. I mean, kinda is. I don't know.
You don't see the issue? What? You don't see it?
They ain't gonna be ready for this now. They ain't gonna be ready for this now.
Recently, there's been an abundance of hot takes being made about the state of Valve's newest release on Twitter, Reddit, Twitch, probably even a random coffee shop Twitch.
Dog, what the f does that mean?
Probably even a random coffee shop in Copenhagen. There's never really been a shortage of people needing to share their godforsaken opinions, but believe me when I say that there currently is a lot more than usual. These takes range from good to bad to downright terrible. You probably find yourself slamming your head against the desk trying to figure out how anyone can come up with something so
Dude, why is he playing with the most wildest crosshairs in the back? What is this? It's so big.
Numbingly stupid. So today, I have the displeasure of doing it for you. Our first take comes from Twitter, where pretty much anyone with 50 or more hours in CSGO had their hand in the basket of hating on Valve for engagement. This user made a 4chan green tech style post saying Valve created the most popular multiplayer game on the planet with a stable fan base. Then Valve updated the game to a new engine, lost a large part of their community, and a great game was ruined, losing Valve millions of dollars or players. I'm not really sure which one they meant. Now, not everything here is incorrect. I'll give them that. And I don't want to nitpick their word choice as the first counter argument of this video, but that's exactly what I'm gonna do. They say CSGO is the most popular multiplayer game on the planet. I know they got to this conclusion by Googling most popular multiplayer games because Counter-Strike is the first one to come up. So let's just get it straight. Counter-Strike isn't even the most popular PC game in the world thanks to CS knockoff Crossfire and League of Legends because of their extreme popularity in Asian countries. But I'm just being an asshole because obviously CSGO is globally recognized, and that's true. The case being made that a large part of the player base can't run the game, however, is one that I hear a lot, and I don't know how true that really is. I haven't played on a laptop sitting on my couch since I was like 14, so I have no choice but to believe other people when they say that the game is a lot slower now, and I'm sure it is. But I'm certain that it's not nearly as unplayable as some of the comments make it out to be, because you can still get hundreds of frames on low settings, which a large majority of the community use anyway. If you are...
Do you think low FPS is a problem? It's just always hard to take away, you know? People will always be mad. They always want more, but never less. But then again, you're getting a lot of other things, you know? You're getting a nicer looking game, if you're into that. I can't play overpass. Okay, that's a problem. If you're like shit crashes or something. Or if it's below 60 FPS, because 60 FPS, yeah, 60 FPS is the maximum the eyes can see, right? I always cap at 60 FPS, I'm Gucci.
We're complaining about getting 15 to 30 frames, and I don't mean to be rude since I know that it's always related to having money issues, but competitive FPS games where every millisecond matters are just not made for you. It sucks not being able to play the game you love because of not having a good enough computer. I was in that
but CSGO was for them. I see why people are mad, smell me?
situation for a long time growing up, and it really sucks the fun out of gaming that way. But there are plenty of other amazing games made for low-end computers if you actually try them. And there's no reason for Valve to still be using an engine from 2004 because some people still have hardware from 2004. You aren't being asked to have a $2,000 computer with top-of-the-line hardware to run the game. But if your computer can't even hit 40 frames on this game, then you're probably not going to be playing many games on that machine anyway. So why is it still Valve's problem to make the game look better and more modern while also allowing it to run on a $300 Lenovo laptop that you got from Amazon? It's not Valve's fault that little Igor Vladinsky from Belarus has an Intel Pentium and...
Bro! Chill! Oh my god. You already know that there's 100% one of the people that watched this video, like, named Parentium with an Intel Parade, blah, 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 blah. And he is right now, oh man, he is not happy.
64 megabytes of RAM. I committed a cardinal sin by instigating an argument on this post about how some people are writing hate threads and saying Valve failed, as if CS players weren't literally begging for Source 2 for like the last 7 years. Yet Valve are still stupid for releasing it. The game isn't even close to perfect, but if Valve delayed this release and nobody was playing it, then people would be more mad that CS2 hasn't even come out yet. Someone had the gall to respond to me saying only a small amount of players were asking for this, and that I should get over myself. At the moment of this reply, I have over 7,000 hours in CSGO. I was playing it casually.
I feel like they could have delayed it, bro. We are so used to Valve saying it's gonna happen then, and then it happens never, or like a year later than planned or whatever. Didn't have to be this summer, you know? I feel like the one time they actually tried to, maybe they wanted to set a mark. Hey, we're as well not just shifting games, we're as well shifting maybe like how everything works. Like, boom, we're on time now. I feel like they could have given him more time. I don't know. There would have been some normies mad, some like maybe Twitch streamers who never play CSGO and are like, hey, isn't the game supposed to be out? But the CSGO fan base wouldn't give a shit, huh? I would have done some more waiting rooms. Hey, I would have wished it was a little bit more delayed.
When it released, and I was around for nearly every major
I missed the waiting rooms with Arrow.
change to CSGO onwards of 2015. Believe me when I say that I know for a fact that every Counter-Strike player under the sun wanted Source 2 to release. It is truly baffling to me how some people can be this wrong so loudly and will still get support because everyone just loves hating on stuff together. There is an overwhelming amount of people who agree with tweets like this, and they'll say stuff like CS2 was the biggest corporate gaming fail since Battlefront 2. This is insane. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and in good faith act like the state of the game right now is any good, but let's not entertain the idea that CS2 is somehow worse than having a developer create the most disliked comment in Reddit history because of how hated the game was. Most of you can't even honestly tell me where CS2 released on this player count chart. If CSGO is a game played mostly by people with ancient hardware, then surely there would have been a obviously sharp decline after CS2's release. It's right here. Player count is shakier than usual, but it's still getting a very consistent amount of players like before. This huge spike here was when Valve said that they
I feel like some people did leave because if the number stays the same and new people joined, old people left.
were going to start inviting more people to the beta, and the players thought that they would get invited if they played a lot more matchmaking. And even though there was a small drop a few days after the release of CS2, there was still more people playing at this point than in July and not much less than August. I literally have no idea where this stigma that a majority of CS players can't play is even coming from. For the sake of clarity, I want to take you back to the release of a sequel that came out in 2012. Let me know if you recognize this website layout. The general consensus of this game was that it sucks. The players and fans hated it. The old game is so much better, you know, that kind of stuff. In this article, the writer does a very deep analysis of every aspect of the game. They say the in-game menu is really complicated, and the new buy menu made buying things much slower. It's hard to tell where sounds are coming from. The recoil is too strong. The movement is a downgrade from old games because
so funny. And now people say, oh, we want the old buy menu back. And back then, when they changed to that, damn, because change. As well, there were pros who said, hey, we gotta get rid of mollies. Pro players
feel sluggish and slow, like you don't have control of your character. And on top of requiring much better hardware to run the game, it's sometimes extremely hard to notice things around the map. You can take nearly every aspect of this article and assume it was written about Counter-Strike 2, but it's not. It's talking about your beloved CSGO. And everyone at the time hated the idea of CSGO replacing
COD 4 was Hey, COD 4 was a nice game, but calm down, brother. In famous games, CSS seems so much better in terms of gameplay. Bullshit preview, all preview shit. It's just for kids. This game Valve tried to make its market, not its gameplay or recoil or weapons. Anything compares with CS 1.6. Damn, dude.
Their favorite game, expecting it to fail. It'd be a good bet to assume it would have done even worse if CSGO literally deleted 1.6 in source as well. It's almost scary how similar these reactions are when compared to the ones made about the same franchise 9 years later. The writer at the time, one of the founders of HLTV, at least acknowledges that it's important to recognize that this game still has a long way to go. And a long way is exactly where this game went. The next couple of takes come from Reddit, where this user believes Valve to have fumbled worse than Blizzard.
That's crazy. Bro, Overwatch 2? I'm not gonna say it.
Like the same Blizzard that took the massively successful Overwatch, ruined the professional scene with OWL, and then removed one player per team in the sequel. Can you imagine if Valve added or removed a player per team? Can you imagine how awful solo holding Beyond Mirage already is, and then Valve takes away your mid player? Just making sure though, you meant the same Blizzard who promised that Overwatch 2 was gonna have a PvE story mode with tons of lore and character progression. Then after putting a $40 price tag on the PvE mode, they stepped back and scrapped the idea entirely, only to be peer pressured by the community into bringing it back as damage control? You mean the same Blizzard that recently had to pay $35 million to settle claims about their mistreatment of women?
Isn't Overwatch 2 right now the worst reviewed game on Steam? Because they just oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my... Recent reviews, mostly negative. All reviews, overwhelmingly negative. Bro, when I just search for it, look how that looks. 1 out of 5, which is 2 out of 10. Jesus, that is terrible.
And sexual assault allegations they have every month. That same Blizzard who just a year prior had to pay $18 million for those exact same reasons. There is no universe in our seemingly infinite galaxy where Valve can somehow be worse than Blizzard. This take belongs in a psych ward. Another user from Reddit made a post titled, "Does anybody else find this worrying?" Basically saying everything is worse and Valve has not acknowledged any of the criticism. They used an example of the Michael Jackson movement bug that went around for a while where your character would awkwardly lean forward, and this user angrily claims that Valve, quote, only change their fucking Twitter banner. I want to say that firstly, the Twitter banner thing is pretty funny. Valve patched the bug on the 12th of October while this Reddit post was made on the 13th. Literally a day after the bug was patched, they are still complaining about Valve not doing anything to fix it. One absolutely major thing that Valve did wrong was get rid of CSGO. And I 100% agree that it sucks that I can't play that game ever again. But my conspiracy theory for why they did this was to avoid following the same path CSGO did with how long it took before people actually started playing it. I don't know if everyone knows this because it was obviously a long time ago, but not everyone was immediately on board with CSGO and preferred playing 1.6 in source. And this meant that CSGO had less people who cared about fixing bugs and making positive changes. So by forcing other players to essentially bug test CS2, it will get fixed and optimized significantly faster than if nobody played it in favor of the older version. Again, don't get it twisted. I really don't think that CS2 is in a good spot right now, and it does need a lot of fixing. However, I believe this negative reaction is being blown out of proportion. In the middle of making this video, I saw a clip of a professional match posted to Twitter with the caption, "Nah, this is a Valorant round. The game looks childish compared to CSGO." I just want to say—
I saw this. Are you dumb as hell? Bro, I think he was saying that because the mollies were purple or something. It's just like 2 smokes, 3 mollies, just like a ace and execute.
That the clip shows 2 Molotovs and 3 smokes being thrown by the attackers to take a ramped control on Vertigo. Only thing I see—
If Valorant would be a walking dog, all of a sudden Kennedy go, meow. Then there's one guy, yo, you get the ace, I'll give you ooh. Then and one guy gets an ace, that song starts playing, ratatatata. Bro, there would be so much jizz on your screen, the blue one, the ultimate, or I don't know. Rocket launcher, one guy boosted up here, rocket launcher, zack. Bruder, are you fucking 2 smokes, 3 mollies? Are you kidding me?
In this clip being different from CSGO is the smoke being breached and the noticeably brighter graphics. But what about this clip even remotely looks similar to Valorant? Why are we doing this? The colors are still way different compared to Valorant.
Bro, Loba keeps writing on this one thing as well.
Similar to Valorant. Why are—
Bro, he found out so late that this one person from Valorant worked on CSGO maps. He found it out like 3 months after people talked about it on Twitter, and then he kept writing it.
Are we doing this? The colors are still way different compared to Valorant, and I can give you 40 examples of more complicated utility for site takes, and all of them come from CSGO because professional players have optimized their games so much that a well-timed execute like this looks almost impossible to counter. Even the official Team Liquid CSGO account agrees with me that there's nothing unusual about this clip, and that automatically means that I'm right. So I win. If anything, though, this is definitely a Vertigo issue because the map plays—
because Team Liquid is a very good team at the moment.
like shit sometimes if you're being anti-stricted. If you allow me to, I'd like to show you some actual good things about CS2. And I promise this isn't propaganda and I'm not dick riding Valve. In CSGO, you had to have boosted 4 players to see heaven from a boost like this. And if you think this is overpowered with only 2 players, then you would be happy to know that FaZe actually lost this round. Another clip shows Twist using the new grenade feature to breach a smoke to bait out the attention of the CT behind. Then uses a distraction to take down 2 defenders on A. This shit is so cool, man. I love how much innovation the top level play has seen over the years, and now CS2 creates ample opportunity to do even more than before. If you are upset about these changes, then you are actually a tiny little baby and need to get over it. I've seen verified Valve employees talking to the community to figure out how to make appropriate changes, and the game is getting consistent updates, which has never happened before. The game honestly doesn't feel that bad. Yeah, I notice it doesn't feel exactly the same, but let's just take a moment to realize how difficult creating an exact one-to-one copy of a game using a 19-year-old game engine as a reference. I think they did a pretty good job thus far, and even though the hitboxes and the subtick changes tend to bug out here and there, the game still functionally plays the same, and you can see examples of this if you watch the first ever CS2 professional LAN. If the game was truly in such a bad position as the haters seem to suggest, then this tournament would not even be possible, and you would see pros boycotting the game, because if there's anything that I know about the
I am Sydney, we watched the playoffs only, felt somewhat smooth. It would be interesting to hear it from the players, of course, as well, but from a watching experience, it was entertaining. I expected a lot of crazy tech timeouts because maybe there's like bugs and glitches with like the demo, or like how you watch player spectating stuff or whatever. Not a lot of tech timeouts. Of course, crazy Pika's advantage. But from a watching experience, it was nice.
Top level, it's that they're closer to professional.
I mean, like CSGO had more tech timeouts. Like, actually, bro, we had every time, like, what was it, Blast, I think? Blast or ESL, I can't remember. Every single map, we had a tech timeout, bro, at the beginning.
Complainers than they are actually professional players. Valve are definitely wrong for patching out the fixes that the community found for problems. For example, players discovered a way to remove the subtick on movement inputs so that it's more consistent to move around and do jump throws for grenades. This was particularly important for professional players because jumping is broken and gives you a random height every time you do it. Valve responded to this by making the alias command use subtick at all times, thereby creating even more problems with movement inconsistencies that require CS players to do CS player things and bust out the notepad++ to come up with their own fixes once again. There are a lot of situations where criticism is absolutely justified, and subtick being unpolished is definitely one of them. But it's very funny when people see these criticisms and use it as an excuse as to why they hate the game. You see clips on Reddit a lot of people getting owned by subtick and dying around corners. I mean, it's happened to me. Because of this influx of clips, you will also see a lot of genuinely bad players try and say that the game sucks because they got pre-fired while sitting AFK with their eyes closed in the most predictable Mirage post-plant corner of all time. Guys will be—
Huh? CS2 is a little bit broke. Okay, this is a troll post, no? Come on.
Post-plant corner of all time. Guys will be like—
yeah, this is a troll. Activate Windows. This guy's full troll mode, bro.
Of all time. Guys will be—
El Chapo. Okay, last time I go back. El Chapo 420. Oh, man.
Guys will be like, you can't do the triple box jump anymore. And then another person will respond with a clip of them making the same exact jump in the same exact way. If anything, these bugs have created a lot more funny posts than they have bad. There was a professional player for FaZe named Twists who had an interview after a few games at IEM Sydney against other top teams and was asked to give his opinion on the state of the game right now. As you can imagine, it was mostly negative, but the difference here is that it was actually constructive. He says he still thinks the game is good, but feels vastly inconsistent in a lot of ways. He says Pika's advantage is a problem and hinders the game in a lot of ways because at the end of the day, crosshair placement should be rewarded. This is a much bigger problem in CS2 because of the desync between players thanks to subtick. And also, the player models move around a lot more than they did in CSGO. Another pro player who is a legend of Counter-Strike says that the game feels a lot slower until
I think this is my quote.
You're peeking into someone. Twist mentions that the pros tweeting about it without productive feedback is what's hurting the game the most. Quote, the community and casual look up to these players, and then whatever notable voice says some shit about the game, that it's bad, they're just going to leech onto that voice and try to share the same opinion. I don't think harping on issues does anything. No one's dick riding the game. We just want to play. I think this is a great take. You can be critical and conscious of the game at the same time without whining about the product everyone begged for since the dawn of time. Do I love the state of Counter-Strike right now? No, and I don't think that there's many people who would disagree. However, the reaction doesn't need to be this game is so shit and we need to bring CSGO back, because although I'll miss CSGO and the memories it brought, history has proven time and time again that Counter-Strike was terrible and then good, ruined.
Should I give my take? I wouldn't go too easy on Valve either, though, because especially comparing it to CSGO, like their beta and how trash it was or whatever, we are in an era where this company is making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of million every single month. Back in the day when 2012 or whatever, that is a different time. Nowadays, they have all the money in the world, and we have a release where things, I feel like, some things where they haven't played is like 10 rounds to test the game, you know? We had crazy bugs and glitches at the beginning. Or like, at the beginning when the game released, and when you were unboxing a gold, the gold color wasn't gold, it was blue, purple. It was an obvious bug. It's like they haven't tested internally a single gold unbox, you know what I mean? They're just like, yeah, release, and then they fix it a week later. Nah, but chat, let's keep it real here. It's a $1 billion company, and this is their cash cow. We're not in the times anymore where CS 1.6 and CSGO. Now they have all the case money, everything. At least like test it internally a little bit, no? Get some people to test it. Because some things, the hitbox, like if they play 5 games inside of the Valve office, them all together, and they shoot one of the diffusers, they realize, no? The music kit time. Music kit starts playing, the 10-second defuse, it was off. There were so many things. You play one round, you realize. Look what happened to Team Fortress. All of a sudden, they broke the whole economy because the cases, all of a sudden, the odds of getting the same equal as a gold, all of a sudden you were getting an unusual every case or something. Is the economy recovered nowadays? I feel like there's still problems, no? Like sometimes they don't test, even they should. That's not the same. It kinda is. It shows that sometimes they release shit without like testing a little bit. No, I don't know.
And then fixed again, died a bunch and came back.
You can trust Majolas.
every single time.
We come to
If
Seattle.
there's one thing you can take away from this video and truly believe, it's that Counter-Strike will damn well do it again. And it's not going anywhere for a long time. Thanks for watching.
Good video though. Good video. Boys, leave our man some love. Leave a sub. Drop some hearts. Zack, zack, zack. You already know how it's done.